Sure.
Perfect. All right. Well, didn't mean to click that. I am so excited to get started because I'm going to show you how you can create 30 days of content in just one day. This is the same system that I use with my clients. I do full service social media management, and this has worked really well for us. So I'm excited to share it. So here are three main problems that I'm sure you're very familiar with as a business owner. So inconsistent posting schedule. You're probably struggling to post regularly and probably don't have a structured content plan and maybe don't know what to post every day, which leads to gaps in your posting, which then just kind of it slows everything down. The algorithm isn't used to you posting regularly, so that can kind of, like I said, just slow down your growth. And it also can leave you feeling pretty overwhelmed by social media. Creating content every day can feel like an endless task, which is just taking time away from your core business activities. And like I said, then that leads to a lack of engagement and growth. Without strategic content planning and engagement, your accounts will probably struggle to grow. Like I said, when you don't post regularly, the algorithm really gets kind of irritated about that and it won't show your content to as many people, which then means you're getting less engagement, which then that also affects how your content is pushed out by the algorithm. So, the less engagement you get, the less it's pushed out. So, it's just kind of like a vicious cycle there. So the solution is to have a strategic content plan. This is going to mean you're going to be able to post more consistently by batch creating content. You're going to eliminate the stress of coming up with what you're posting every day. And it's going to ensure a steady flow of posts, which, like I said, the algorithm loves. That means it's going to push your content out more and more people are going to see it and like it and comment and engage and do all the fun things, which means then the algorithm will show it to even more people. You're also going to feel a lot more in control of your social media by filming just a couple hours, saves you time and prevents daily content stress because you're going to have you're not just going to know what you're going to post, you're going to have it ready to go. So it's going to become very manageable instead of feeling overwhelming. And like I just mentioned, this means you're going to grow more. I'm also going to share how I use 10 to 15-minute engagement strategies before and after posting to boost visibility, and also how to use trending audio. So you're going to walk away from this with a content creation strategy, an engagement strategy, as well as a 30-day content calendar, as well as recording for this video. I'm going to email all of that over to you later today. And then a little bit about my business. So I started, in 2022, I was working in property management and I went to a holiday party where I met a bunch of people from the corporate office for the very first time. And every single one of them, when I shook their hand, said, "Hey, I know you. You're the Instagram girl." Because I had been posting on Instagram and TikTok for the property I worked for, and it had been getting a lot of feedback, and a lot of people in the company were seeing it, as well as people in our area. So that's when I realized that I was actually pretty good at social media, and I realized that I'd rather help small business owners than major corporations. So I started Socials by Kate Fahey. And a little bit about me, because right now I'm still a stranger to you. Why should you trust me? Well, because I've been making content for 15 years. I have experience as a UGC creator, otherwise known as user generated content, micro influencer, and now I help busy businesses free up their time while growing their social media accounts. My favorite platform to work with is Instagram, and I consistently create reels that reach 2 to 10 times my account followers. Here is an example of that. This is for the account overall. One of my clients. So we had just under 21,000 views in the last 30 days. This was a 423% increase from what they had been doing before. We had almost 500 interactions and 77 new followers. So, first part of what I do starts with research, and I don't really have a time limit set for this because I kind of do this as I'm doing the engagement that I'm going to talk about later. Keep my eye out for content that I think would perform well with my audience. So I follow similar accounts and I'm sure you too, as you mentioned, you're in network marketing. Sure, you follow a lot of people who are also in the industry. So keep an eye out for what they're posting, what's doing well, what's getting a lot of comments, what seems like just is engaging with people, or something that, even if it maybe isn't engaging great on their audience, something you think your audience would really enjoy. And then I go ahead and I save it. I have a few folders in Instagram itself. So like reels, carousel topics, engagement posts, and I'll just go ahead and save it. That way, when I'm getting ready to create a content plan, I'm not searching for ideas. Then I can go through my curated ideas already. And like I mentioned, just look at what's worked, what's getting more likes and comments. And then take note of any format storytelling techniques that perform well. And I mentioned following similar accounts, but you don't have to get inspiration from accounts that are similar to yours. You can also get inspiration from other industries. I know that like for a while, that I'm sure you saw that trend of like, I met my younger self for coffee and like the changes you've gone through since then. That's something that you may have seen, for example, maybe a runner post about how they've, run a marathon since then, and a bunch of half marathons, and they're more confident. But then if you're in the health industry, you could put a twist on that and talk about how your health's improved since using your products and how that's changed your life. So don't be afraid to get inspiration from other niches as well. And then a plan your content calendar. So this is the general format I use for all of my clients. 8 to 12 reels a month, 4 to 8 carousel and static posts. So carousel post is anything you're going to have to slide through to see the different slides on it. And then a static post is just a single photo. And then the reel is obviously Instagram's videos. Reels get pushed out the most to people that you don't already follow. So for my account, for example, I usually get somewhere between like 90 to 95% of my views on my reels are from people who didn't already follow me. So those are super beneficial if you're trying to grow your account, reach a new audience. Carousels are going to be the second most pushed out to non-followers. And the nice thing about Reels is Instagram actually gives you multiple chances to engage with the people who have viewed it, because if they scroll past the first slide and don't interact, Instagram will show them one of the later slides later on in their field. So you do get that, or in their feed, not their field, in their feed. So you do get that second opportunity to capture their engagement. And then static posts are primarily viewed by your followers. So just keep that in mind if you are wanting to, reach your current audience. I would use a static post. Or if you are creating static posts, just keep in mind that the majority of people who are going to see that will probably be people who already follow you, versus Reels is going to be a lot of new faces. You also want to mix up the kind of content you're doing: educational, entertaining, and promotional. Promotional, obviously, you got to sell. And, selling can sometimes feel uncomfortable, but sometimes you literally have to tell people like, this is what I'm selling, here's why you should buy it, for them to buy it for you. I love warm leads. I love, showing people yours and my, expertise and educating them on what we do. But sometimes you literally have to say, here is why you should buy my product. Click the link in the bio to book, for people to actually take that action. I mentioned educational, and then entertaining content is great because a lot of times those like funny, silly memes that we see, those are going to get shared a lot more than like sometimes, well, definitely going to get shared more than us selling, but also sometimes even more than our educational content, because people like to laugh and they like to share that with people. And when people are commenting and liking and sharing your funny stuff, even though it's not educating them about your brand, it's still going to be very valuable, because that's still telling the algorithm that you have valuable content that people enjoy, and it's going to boost it. For example, one of my favorite like little hacks to get some extra engagement is if you host a giveaway, because even though it's not necessarily educating people on your brand or selling to them, you get so much engagement from that your next posts that you do are going to typically perform better. So that can be a really good little tip if you're like launching a new product, or, have an announcement you want people to hear about. Doing a giveaway beforehand can really get that content to do better. And then use a scheduling tool. Instagram and Facebook do have a built-in scheduling system in Meta Business Suite. I personally don't use it because when I've experimented with it with my content, I saw a huge decrease in the reach I was getting. And I have talked to other social media managers who have seen the same. But then I've talked to some who swear it didn't make any difference in their reach. So I just always recommend that people test both and see what works for them. For me, I just keep a log of what I'm going to be posting when in Google Calendar, just so I can kind of visually see, make sure I don't have like a whole bunch of, funny content bunched up together, or a whole bunch of educational content back to back. I like to, have it mixed throughout. But then I just save my posts as drafts, which I'll get into a little bit. And that's how I go ahead and post them. And then my face is kind of blocking, but right down here, sorry, it mirrors. It's so weird. Right down here, it talks about trending audio. Trending audio, using that can also boost your posts in the algorithm. So when it makes sense to use an audio on Instagram rather than a voiceover, I like to make sure to use a trending audio with as few plays as possible. because like I said, that just boost it in the algorithm and have more people see your content. So filming and editing. I dedicate 1 to 2 hours and we just batch film everything back to back. I stay very much on task, which is why I can get so much content filmed in an hour or two. With most of my clients, we get like 12 to 16 reels filmed in that hour or two, but I have a couple clients who we've worked together a lot. We've gotten really efficient and we can get almost 20 reels done in that hour or two. So very efficient. Some tips, set up your space ahead of time, make sure the lighting is good, make sure there's no clutter in the background. I do use a tripod. I will also send out a link to all of the tools and gear I use for filming. It's not a lot. I'm pretty minimalist. I film everything on my iPhone. The iPhone has great camera quality. Just make sure that if you are filming with an iPhone, you're using the back camera always, because the back camera has much better quality than the front camera. And then I also pick out when I'm filming for myself, I pick out a few outfits ahead of time. My clients, I also recommend they do that. Just so you can switch it up while you're filming, so you don't have all of your reels in the exact same outfit. Unless I do have some clients who, for example, work in a med spa, they typically always film in their scrubs, and that makes sense for their business. But if you don't want it to look like you filmed everything all at once, changing up your outfit is a great option. And then keep in mind, this one here, film in segments, keep in mind what you can reuse. So for example, I work with a therapist. I do a bunch of content for her. A lot of times we'll like reenact stuff with her, like, how to apologize or arguments. And then I'm able to reuse that content in other ways. So like we've done, how to apologize the right way. And then we've spun it around and done like, green flags in an argument and use that same content. So just keep in mind while you're filming, like how you could use the same pieces you're filming now in other ways, because again, we're just trying to save time, free up your time to do other things. And if you can film once and use it for 3 different reels, obviously it's saving you a ton of time. And then editing. So I've used CapCut currently to edit. CapCut is owned by the same people that own TikTok. So when TikTok went dark, CapCut did too. Not sure what's going on with that. Obviously the whole TikTok ban is still up in the air. If it does get banned again, CapCut will go away. The good news is Instagram is coming out with their own editing software next month. Stated to come out next month. Hopefully that happens. It's gotten pushed back a couple times already, but it is going to be called Editor. And as soon as that comes out, I'm either going to do a training or a video on my social media comparing CapCut and Editor, because right now CapCut is unfortunately the best option I found, because CapCut is the only editing system that I can do. I can edit the video itself, like brighten it up, adjust the contrast, sharpen it up, that kind of thing, and also auto generate captions. And I highly recommend you use captions, because if you think about how often we're scrolling on our phone when we can't have audio on, like waiting in line, maybe at a doctor's office, even sometimes in bed if your partner's asleep next to you, if there's no captions and it's like a voiceover or someone talking, the viewer's just gonna swipe right by because it has no value to them. So having captions is really beneficial to capture those people that maybe don't have audio on, or even just me. I'm very visual. I like to read along. Even on TV, I have captions on. So I recommend using captions, and CapCut is great because it auto generates the captions. So that's what I use to edit, and I edit on my phone just because I feel like I can see exactly what my viewers are going to see when I'm watching it back. It's the exact same ratio and all that. And then when I edit on CapCut, save it as a draft, save it immediately as soon as you are done. Do not risk something happening to CapCut. I have a friend who had CapCut. She had like 30 drafts that she hadn't downloaded yet when it went dark. And luckily she was able to get them back, but she thought she had lost 30 reels that she had spent so much time on. So make sure you download it right away. And then what I do is I go in Instagram. Once I've edited everything and I've saved it all to my phone, I go into Instagram and I upload all of them one at a time as a post. I write the caption, any hashtags, I put the location. Geotagging is really important if you are a location-based business. If you can't work with anybody, definitely use those geotags. I add the audio, get everything ready to go. And then if you exit out of the post, Instagram will ask you, do you want to discard this or do you want to save it as a draft? Just click save as a draft. And the reason I do that is because, like I said, I have noticed that with the scheduling platform, I don't get as great reach, but I don't want to have to worry about making a post every day. Again, we're batch filming for a reason. Saving as a post or saving as a draft means that when you're ready to post it, all you have to do is go into your drafts, find it, click post, and you're done. So that's what I recommend. And then for the hashtags, I recommend to use a mixture of like 5 to 30 hashtags. I know that is very broad. Instagram has not told us how many they really want to see. Back, a few years ago, 30 was the standard. Everybody said use 30 hashtags to get your full reach. Now I'm hearing Instagram is preferring you to have less. So I always just experiment. Some posts I do 5, some 20. Occasionally I use all 30. Sometimes I do 15. And just try and see what works best for you. See if you can find any patterns of which posts are performing the best. And then as far as which hashtags to use, I always recommend using a mixture that is niche specific. So for example, I just completed a branding package for a client. She is a Montessori education coach for parents. So we used a bunch of Phoenix-based hashtags, Phoenix, Mesa, Tempe, Scottsdale, very location-based. We did obviously a bunch of Montessori based hashtags, Montessori education, Montessori children, Montessori schooling. And then we used other hashtags that I think that her target audience would be using. Stuff about parenting, homeschooling, early childhood development, even some home organization ones. So it really depends on your niche, but you want to use a mixture and you want to use things that you think your audience will be searching for so that you can be seen by them. There's a lot of controversy right now about whether or not hashtags are dead. They're not as important for the algorithm as they used to be. The algorithm is prioritizing keywords within the captions and the videos, but hashtags are never going to go away because it's still a way people search. Even for example, I just ran a marathon. I really like to see what other people's experiences are before I sign up for a marathon. So I typed in hashtag Surf City Marathon and scrolled the post. So it gives you kind of an evergreen space on the feed where you're always going to be that people can find you. I mean, last year I had somebody comment on a post wanting to use my photo for a blog post, and I had made that post like 5 years ago, but they found it through a hashtag. So they are still very valuable, just not necessarily in the way they used to be. And then the engagement. So after you've got all the posts done, all the hashtags, everything's ready to go in your drafts, before you post, take 10, 15 minutes and engage. Go to other creators who do similar things to you. Go where you think your clients might be. I work with a med spa up in Flagstaff, and I'll go to the Flagstaff location, click top post, and I'll just scroll through, like and comment, just engage with people, let them know you exist, let the algorithm know you're engaging with other creators. We're girls, we're here to support everybody. That really helps the algorithm. They really like to see us not just posting and ghosting, but actually engaging with the community. Then you go ahead and you go into your drafts, you publish that post that you have all ready to go, and then take another 10 to 15 minutes, engage some more with other people. I'm sorry, I forgot. After you post your post, like, comment, and save your own post. Just give it that little kickstart. Then go engage with other people. Respond to any comments you get on your post, any DMs you get. Again, you just want to be on the app, being kind of what sort of networking, kind of, rubbing shoulders with everybody. Again, the algorithm just really likes to see this. And also, if you're getting comments or likes on your post, you're probably going to go look at their stuff. And it's the same way with other people. When they see you're commenting, you're engaging with their stuff, they're going to be curious to check out what you have and check out your content. This is what I do for all of my clients. Like I said, this has worked really well for me. I'm getting really great views. And by following this method, you can maintain a strong social media presence without spending hours each day on content creation. What I just described, even if you do 15 minutes of engagement before and after your video, or before and after you post, you're probably spending maybe 35 minutes a day after you've batch created everything, rather than hours every day, even just sitting there trying to figure out what to post. It's all done for you. I do recommend you keep an eye on your analytics and tweak your content strategy based on performances to stay consistent. So I typically once a month will go through and look at what content has performed the best in the last 30 days. If you haven't done this before, I would go ahead and do the last 90 days and see what content has performed the best. How can you create more content that's similar to that or repurpose that content in a different way? Because obviously, if your audience has, if that's a top performing post, your audience really, felt something about it. It was very valuable to them. A great example of this is if you did a post, top 5 ways to get in shape for the summer. And it got a lot of comments, especially if they got a lot of saves and shares. That's the best way to tell if someone really sees value in their content, if they're saving it for themselves to reference later or sharing it with somebody else. A great option would be, say you've got a blog as well, and you see that this post of 5 ways to get in shape for summer did really well. Let's expand that, make it a blog post, and share it to your feed again. Check out more in-depth details on the blog. Or maybe it was a carousel post that did really well. So you're going to take that same concept and you're going to make it a reel, maybe 5 more ways you can get in shape. Just some examples of how you're going to take those analytics and use it to determine the direction you're taking your content. And that's absolutely something that I can help with in my full service social media content creation or even branding package. That's part of what I go through is what posts have performed the best and how can we leverage that in the future. Speaking of, here are some of my services. So like I said, I'm all about freeing up your time to do other things. So my business had a motto, it would be, let me take care of your social media so you can take care of the areas of your business that you cannot outsource. So I've got a few options here. This first one is content creation. And this is probably my most popular package because it's really great for small business owners who are maybe just starting out or maybe a little nervous about investing so much in social media management. So as you can see, mirror, the price is a lot lower than my full service social media. But what this package is I will come to a location of your choice and we will shoot some content. And like I said, I only book 2-hour sessions with my clients and I get anywhere from 12 to 20 pieces of content, depending on, like I said, what we're filming, how involved it is. But then I take all that stuff home and I do all of the editing. Editing is by far the longest part of this whole process. So I take that over for you. I do all of the editing. I also even write captions for you, create hashtags for each of them. And then I deliver you content that is 100% ready to post. All you have to do is copy, paste, save it in the drafts, and post it throughout the month. I actually have one client who is really good at creating static posts and carousel posts herself. So we only do reels. And then she spaces out the reels I create for her with the static and carousel posts she does herself. And she actually stretches this monthly package to be about 3 months of content with the stuff she creates as well. So I really love this package because it is very, very customizable to what my clients need. And then for my clients who are too busy to even worry about that, or maybe just really don't like doing social media and don't want to touch it, we have the full service social media management. And I have 2 options here, depending on how often you want to post, because obviously the more posts we're creating, the more work it is for me. So it has to be a higher price point. But this light social media management, I post 2 to 3 times a week on Instagram and Facebook. Starts at $1,500. And then we've got the full service social media right over here, which is 3 to 5 posts per week. And that is $2,000 a month. But that is my spiel. This is the system that I use for my own content for all of my clients. Like I said, all of my clients have seen really great growth and also just have so much more free time. Well, free time to work on their business in the areas that they can't outsource, which I think is the most valuable part of this. I have all of my contact information right over here. I would love you to follow me and I would love to be able to follow you back and see what content you're creating and how else I can support you. But that's the end of my spiel. So I would love to hear if you have any questions about this that I can help you with.
I don't. I really liked the info that you shared. I knew some of it, but I feel like I can be a little bit more dialed in at the moment.
You know what? It's a full-time job sometimes because the algorithm changes so much. I swear one week I see all of you because I follow obviously a lot of social media managers as well. I have friends in the industry, and it's like 1 week, this is what's working. Everybody do this. It's the best. And then like a week later, I'll be like, no, scratch, don't do that. The algorithm hates it. So
Right, right.
it's definitely a learning curve, but I'm glad that this was helpful for you.
Yeah, yeah, just to give me a little more direction. I've always known that I really need to just sit down and kind of make a plan and hadn't done it. But I really like the batch videoing idea.
It
Yeah.
that yeah, that saves so much time. And I'm also going to, when I send you this recording, I'm also going to send you a generic 30-day content calendar, which will hopefully help you figure out kind of your strategy a little bit more, give you some ideas of what to post and kind of a sample of what you could be doing, which hopefully that helps. And then also, if you sign up for my newsletter, once a quarter, I send out 100 social media ideas for the season. So
Okay.
I actually just sent out the spring one, and if you want, I can go ahead and include that in your email as well.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
All
That'd
right,
be awesome. Yeah.
perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining on this. Like I said, please give me a follow on Instagram because I would love to follow you back and see how you put this into practice. And I'll tell you what I tell everybody, go ahead and tag me in any videos you create, and I will hop on and like, comment, save, share as well to help you boost your content in the algorithm.
Oh, awesome. Love it.
All right, perfect. Well, I will let you get back to your day because I'm sure you've got so much going on. But if you think of any questions, if you rewatch this recording, or even if you're just laying in bed at night and you're like, oh, I should have asked that, go ahead and shoot me a DM or an email or even a message on Instagram, and I'd love to be here to support you.
I definitely will. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
not a
And
problem.
thanks for doing it in the afternoon, even though I was the only one.
No, you're fine. I wanted to give everybody some options. I know with the like when you work for yourself, sometimes schedule can be a little weird. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you hopped on,
Me
and
too.
yeah, let me know if you have any other questions in the future.
I will. I definitely will. Thank you.
Not a problem. You have a good rest of your day.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye bye.